Welcome to the Webb Report. My name is Stuart Webb. Tonight we're going to talk about the Great Reset. But first we are going to watch this short video clip.
Cryptic message from the US President Donald Trump. He says, and I quote, "The world's most powerful reset." That's it. That's the short message from US President Donald Trump. He's just put this out as all eyes now are looking at developments in Islamabad.
But now he goes on to say, and I'm quoting Donald Trump here, he says, world's most powerful reset. That's all that he says there. Steve Gill, what do you think he is referring to? What do you make of this cryptic post?
Okay. Excuse me. So, Donald Trump posts on his Truth Social or whatever platform that he's using. This was on April 10th, 2026. World's most powerful reset. That's it. He just posted that. Very interesting. Now, back in 2020, what the Great Reset is, it hasn't been brought up. It was brought up quite a bit back in 2020, 2021. And what the Great Reset is, what was proposed at the World Economic Forum was something called the Great Reset Initiative. So it says right here, Wikipedia, the Great Reset Initiative is an economic recovery plan proposed by the World Economic Forum in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, in response to it. Interesting. The project was launched in June 2020, accompanied by a video message from the then Prince of Wales, Charles. Its stated objective is to support recovery from the global pandemic in a manner that emphasizes sustainable development. Okay. So what these wicked elites do is that they use these words that sound really peaceful. When you hear sustainable development, it's important to note, at least I do, you don't have to do what I say, but I view, when I hear sustainable development, that means restriction or loss of my natural rights. Okay? That's what it means. That's in practice, in application by these elites. That's what it means. So let's continue. At the time of the initiative's announcement, WEF Chairman Klaus Schwab, so World Economic Forum Chairman Klaus Schwab, outlined three core components of the initiative: advancing a stakeholder economy. So that just means the abolition of private property. Okay, you know who's a stakeholder in a public park? Really, no one, because it's everyone's. Public property is not private property. So stakeholder economy means private businesses will be done away with. Private property, you won't own anything. Okay? People say you're being ridiculous. Well, when we said, the government or certain entities are going to try to force people to take a vaccine they don't want, were we crazy then? Oh yeah, that happened. So, and I remember people saying during 2020 that there would be no way that the government would try to force people to take vaccines. If you were alive around then, and just ask yourself, did they try to force people? Yeah, they did. So it's not crazy. Okay? So stakeholder economy means, in practice, it means getting rid of your private property rights. Okay? Continuing, building in a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable way using environmental, social, and governance, ESG metrics. Okay, again, getting rid of your restriction of your rights. Okay, it's the only way they can achieve whatever it is they're talking about here. Because if you disagree with it, so let's just say that people say, no, we don't want to participate in this. Well, that's not acceptable to them, okay? You will comply, is what they're saying. This is what we're doing. You don't have a choice, okay? So like, that whole, this was also during the time when they were promoting synthetic meats and eating bugs. Okay. And people said, yeah, no, thank you. And that's great. We need to say, no, thank you. Of course. No, we're not going to do that. But they're putting these things out there because eventually it's not going to be a choice. It's not going to be an option. They're going to say, no, we're doing this. And it's our job to say no. That's part of our big job, saying no to this stuff. Continuing, and harnessing the innovations of the fourth industrial revolution. In a keynote address, and I think in fourth industrial revolution, that's referring to like AI and technology, I think. In a keynote address, International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva identified 3 principles of a sustainable recovery: green growth, smarter growth, fairer growth. Okay, so all this has to do with getting rid of your private property rights and redistribution of your property. So again, you will. There's, I think, a quote by Klaus Schwab that I mean, I heard it over and over and over. So I haven't even looked it up, but I've heard it so many times that people that support this Great Reset, like Klaus Schwab, they say that you're going to own nothing and you're going to love it. Well, I mean, I don't know who buys that, but so just, private property? Yeah, no, you won't have any private property, but you're going to love that. You're going to love not owning anything. Yeah, so, that farmland you have and, how you're independent and self-sufficient and you're, just living peacefully with your family. Oh, no, you're not going to have that. And guess what? You're going to love that. Okay? So the fact that President Trump just posted that on his platform, it's a little odd. So using that language, and also this is during the peace negotiations with Iran, apparently. So remember, we just started a war, a war of aggression, because Iran said they weren't going to give up the ability and the right to defend themselves, essentially. And we just said, oh, well, we're going to invade you. What it's really about is that they want everyone under their control, every single nation. Okay? This is not about giving people their natural rights and protecting them. It's about getting rid of their even ability to choose whether they want to live a certain way and have liberty. Okay, that's what it's about. So, cryptic message, that's what the Great Reset is. If you, I mean, that's just like a little paragraph about it. It's just interesting also that you put it into Chat GPT, but I put in, give me an overview or a breakdown of the book, The Great Reset, because there's a book that accompanies this whole initiative. And, it goes through all the same, basically Agenda 2030 stuff. And I just think it's really funny how ChatGPT, I did not ask Chat for their opinion, because it's an AI, it's an AI tool, right? But it's obviously programmed a certain way. So that's why you have to be careful. You have to use discernment. But I didn't ask for this, but it says, conspiracy theories, important distinction. Claims that it's a secret plan for global control. These are not supported by evidence and widely debunked. Okay, I didn't ask for your opinion on it. I didn't ask for the information about conspiracy theories regarding what it is, what this book is about. Okay, and then it says again, I didn't ask for this, what the book is versus what it's not. What it is, a policy, framework, thought piece. Well, it's not a thought piece if governments are going to implement this, or they're going to force this on its citizens and implement these things. So it's not just a thought piece. Okay. a collection of ideas about post-pandemic recovery, a call for systemic reform. What it's not, a step-by-step plan to control the world, a legally binding agenda, a detailed implementation blueprint. So, yeah, it's not binding yet. Okay? Again, let's take it back to 2020. There's no, the government's creating a vaccine so that we can get through this pandemic and move past it. Okay, great. If they want to do that, that's great. And people can take it if they want. Oh, no, you have to take it. But if I was saying that before, chat would say, it's not a step-by-step, this pandemic is not a step-by-step plan to force people to take, to inject themselves with who knows what. No, it's not a step-by-step plan to do that. But then when they implement when they implement what they've been telegraphing the entire time and been telling us that they're going to do, we're the crazy ones. No, so all you have to do is use a little discernment and recognize that, of course, this is what the Great Reset is. It's about control and the elimination of your natural rights. So I am going to talk about Agenda 2030 as well, because this goes right along with the Great Reset. But I wanted to just talk about that because of that post by President Trump. So if you don't know what the Great Reset is, now you have a little bit of understanding about what it is, and just be aware of that, because sustainable development and all these terms that they use that sound virtuous, it's actually about removing your natural rights or restricting them heavily. So, all right, that's all I got for you on this one.